Good morning. So today we're headed down to Glendalough. But first I'm gonna go to this Irish Immigration Museum here in Dublin called Epic. I've been wanting to go for a few years, but I just never, I don't spend time in Dublin, so it never really happened. So I have a ticket, which I actually bought with like about to expire airline points. So I'm gonna slowly head that way. I was just kind of done being in that hostel. It's a fine facility, but like it's very much not catered to English-speaking tourists, let's put it that way. And if you are an English-speaking tourist, it makes it hard to communicate with like the people that work there. So I'm gonna head out and I'll show you some like little bits of what I see in the museum.
CHQ building in the heart of Dublin's Docklands. This area has a rich, vibrant history from the earliest days of the state.
They've got an amazing folk history and folklore.
Reminds me about death, you know. So I went on like, hey mommy, how are you? How is it? Great to be home.
Alright, I'm leaving. They didn't have George Carlin in the comedy section. They did. What we talk about it.
Well, I just finished the museum. It took about an hour and a half, so not quite. I budgeted like 2.5 hours for it. It's interesting. There's a lot of just kind of like watch a screen of names, but then there's also a lot of interactive stuff and videos, and I don't know. It's thoughtfully prepared. Definitely, it's totally worth, I think, the time. I don't know if I would have wanted to spend €18 to go, but since I basically got it for free, like totally happy to go. It was interesting. I'm glad I finally went, but I probably won't need to go back anytime soon. But yeah, okay. So I have all my stuff and things. My packet's extra heavy because I had to go grocery shopping for like the next 4 days, and everything is in jars, like glass jars. So like I'll do like a pasta thing. So I like got some vegetables and some pasta and like stuff like that. And then I had to get like peanut butter and jelly for lunches. All of the things are in glass jars, so it's like super heavy. So yeah, I'm pretty sure my bag is an extra 10 pounds right now, which probably puts it somewhere in the neck of like 45 pounds. I don't know, we'll see. It's gonna take a while to get back to the train station, but it's only 12, so I have like an hour and a half before my train leaves. So my plan is just make it down there, grab some lunch at the train station, and then just start my journey south.
Yeah, we knew that, yeah.
Okay, here begins my saga of buses in Ireland. Now online and in this little thing it says there's one at 2:55. I was here by 2:50, there was no bus, and it's now 3. So it's either late or all of these timetables are wrong. And either of those things are just as likely as the other. Okay, update. I did talk to one of the station masters that works at this train station, and he said it does show up, it does meet here. He's just always 5 to 30 minutes late. So I'll take it, that's fine, as long as it's not the wrong location or the bus doesn't run anymore. So yeah, I'm just gonna stand here in this sunlight, which is probably quite fleeting and temporary, but yeah, that's Wicklow town. So the train station is actually quite outside the town, which is not irregular for Ireland. I'm hoping I'm gonna come back to Wicklow at some point in the next couple of days and walk out to the headland. It is the easternmost point in the mainland of Ireland, and I've been to the northern, southern, and westernmost points, so I feel like I need to check that box, but we'll see what the weather. Well, I made it back to Glendalough. The sky is mighty dark in that direction, so let's hope I beat that. I'm walking to my hostel right now. It was a challenge finding this place and like booking it. I had to make an international phone call. It was a thing. So hopefully nothing goes wrong when I get there. But it's wild to be back. Last time I was here it was 2014 and I came on a day tour bus from Dublin. So I've certainly evolved as a traveler since then. Nothing like a bit of road walking down a road that looks like this, but it's two ways. Carrying all my stuff. A hostel. Oh my goodness. I've been trying to get here for a really long time. Not just today, but like in the previous years. I actually had this place booked back in 2020, but we all know what happened there. So let's go try to check. Well, here's my room. I was led to believe it was a slightly smaller dorm, but we'll see how many other people join me. Right now, there's no one else here. Fingers crossed it stays that way. So here's the view from the backyard of where I'm staying. Some of the other guests apparently are out doing the walks that I want to do. I was advised that maybe I should do it now, but it's like 4:30 or 4:40, I should say. And by the time I get ready and actually go, it'd be 5. The hike I want to do is only supposed to be like 3.5 hours, but it'll probably take me 4. Which technically means I could get back before it's dark, but I've been schlepping about all day. I'm kind of not in the mood for that. So tomorrow it's supposed to rain in the morning, but it's supposed to be okay by about 1. So I might do an afternoon tomorrow of it. Go after lunch and hike all afternoon and then come back for dinner. So fingers crossed that plan is a good one and that it works. But for now, I'm just gonna enjoy this view. I think that up there is part of the hike that I want to do. There's actually 2. There's one that kind of goes around the valley this way, and there's one that kind of goes back into the mountains that way. I don't know if the weather's going to be good enough for me to do both of them, but we'll see. So I've decided to take myself out on a walk. There's this kind of short little loopy trail you can do. It's not super far from where I'm staying, so I'm gonna go do that. Because while I'm not up for climbing up there right now, I can just do a gentle like loop around that lake over there, no problem. So that's what we're doing. This is what I'm talking about. All the boardwalks. All the boardwalks. So this is an interesting anti-slip measure. They're nails that have been bent over. Interesting. But like effective. It's not slippery at all. It's blueberries. At least I think so. I'm not gonna eat them. This is kind of wild. I remember walking this exact path when I came here in 2014. It was my first solo trip and I was a little terrified. So I came to Ireland because I was like, okay, I know how to get around. But when my friends and I were here in 2007, we traveled together. Like I never did any solo traveling, and we tended to like either do, we called mindless travel, where you do a day tour from some big city. We didn't have a ton of money because we were poor college students, so We didn't do a ton of those, but our program took us on a couple that were like included in the cost of the program. So we did those, and then we did a few on our own, like that we planned with using the buses, and something always went wrong every time we did those. So I was a little intimidated, but I figured if I was going to start anywhere, it should be here. Look at that. But so what I did was I went to like a few big cities like Galway and Cork, and Dublin and Belfast. And then I went to some like small to medium like towns, like they were real places. They had multiple bus services and stuff. And then I went to like one or two slightly off the beaten path places. But I came to Glendalough on one of those day tours from Dublin. And it was like me, this random doctor who was in Dublin for a conference, and this family with like college, early 20s aged kids. But like they had gotten separated, like the family had gotten separated. So it was like the mom and 3 of her kids were on the tour bus. And then the dad and one of the other kids had like gotten a rental car and was like gonna meet them at the end of the tour. It was weird, I don't know. But like, so the doctor wasn't part of their crew, but he was traveling by himself and I was traveling by myself. So like we all just kind of glommed together. We were like at the front of the bus, and we all just kind of like did the tour together. Like, you know, we walked around the places together, and it was like one of those ones that goes all the way around Wicklow. So we stopped in the P.S. I Love You Bridge, and we stopped at the Guinness Lake, and we went to the Peace Center, and where else did we go? Avoca, the wool mill place. And then we came here too. This was one of the big stops. And they gave us, I don't know, maybe an hour or so. Our tour guide got out and told us a bit about the Round Tower and some of the other sites at actual like Glendalough, which is technically it's a monastic site. And then we had about enough time to do this green loop around the small loch or lake over there. And I really liked this place. I was like, it's super cool. I would have never been able to get here myself, and this is one of the places I wanted to come. But here I am 9 years later, and not only did I get myself here, but it's on like sketchy, maybe won't come buses. And I'm here not only to just do this tiny walk around a lake, which was a lot of exercise for me at that time, but I'm hopefully, weather permitting, going to be doing some big hikes up into like the hills. So it's really cool to like use this as a reflection point around how much I've kind of grown and changed over the last 9 years of solo travel. It's funny, I was just reading this New Yorker article this morning about how like we're our worst people when we travel and all of these things. It was like very philosophical, and clearly the author was trying to like stretch their, look, I know all of these philosophers' background and kind of couch it in their own opinions about travel and travelers. And while I think they had some interesting points, like I think the part that was missing was like, you can have authentic, interesting experiences that don't negatively impact the place you're visiting. And like, as somebody from Hawaii, like I feel like that's really true. So hopefully that's my experience traveling, that I get to have positive outcomes and not negatively impact the people whose place I'm visiting. This was about as far as I got last time. I didn't make it fully around the lake because you had to basically book it if you wanted to do that. I wanted to just like see the lake and take some pictures, but the water was a lot lower, and these rocks were all kind of where the shoreline was. You can kind of see a few of them in the water there. And so I have a picture of me standing on one of those rocks right here, and I'll see if I can't include it in this. Another fun fact is that this is part of the Wicklow Way, which is one of the long distance walking routes in Ireland. I have heard more American accents in the last 36 hours than I have for the last 3 weeks. It's so weird. It sounds so like jarring to me at this point. It was time, y'all. I've been actually wanting one of these for the last couple of days. In Ireland, usually they call them a 99. I assume at some point in time they were 99¢. They're not anymore. This was $3.50. And you can get them with or without the flake, which is the chocolate bit. With is always better. In England, they call them Mr. Whippies or like Whippies. Although the truck I got this from was a Mr. Whippy, so maybe they're expanding. Who knows? So I'm about, probably about 2/3 of the way through this little loop walk. So the plan is to just keep walking, go back to the hostel, enjoy my ice cream, hope the power's on because they've been having the power go out. Otherwise I might have to walk to get dinner because I brought pasta and I can't really eat that without it being cooked. So this water is really flowing. It must be super full up at the upper lake and waterfall. So the bad news is the power is still not on. Apparently it's been pretty much off for 15 hours and the person at the reception desk is super confused. She's like, this wasn't planned. It's never happened before. Who knows? So I could kind of throw together a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but given that that's basically my lunch every day that I'm going to be here and will probably be, if the power goes back on, some form of toasted breakfast, I need some other food for dinner. So I'm going to walk over to the hotel, spend more money than I want to, and get whatever they have. My other option is to walk back the other direction where I got my ice cream. There was like a food truck that was doing like burgers and stuff, but after I had those garlic cheese fries yesterday, which were, by the way, delicious, I don't think my body would like more fried food today, at least not in that capacity. So I'm gonna walk over to the hotel that's just down the road, and they have a restaurant, so I'll probably try to eat there. And that's St. Kevin's Tower. That's what this whole Glendalough place is built around. So back in the day, monastic sites used to be these big round towers, mainly because for protection. So like you see those little windows right there. Oftentimes their entry points were like maybe like here-ish, and then there would be like ladders. So if they were fearful that somebody was gonna come trying to attack them, they could just like doot 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 and close the door and pull up the ladder, and they'd be much safer. So yeah. Okay, I spent way more money than I wanted to on dinner, but you know, that's fine. Hopefully this is just the one night and then I can eat my groceries from now on, but could be worse. Sitting next to the stream, I have a Guinness. It's in a plastic cup, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I ordered fish cakes, so yeah, let's hope that this is a good 17 euro. A little disappointed that this is my 12 euro fish cakes, plural, and there's one and some salad. Also, the person I bought it from was very insistent that it came with fries, and there's no fries, but on the listing it didn't say there was fries, so I was surprised about the fries. So I'm definitely gonna need more food than this. Okay, the fish cake was good. It was just not an entree. Like, I would say that was a really solid starter. If there was like 2 fish cakes and it actually came with fries, then like it would 100% be an entree. But I don't want to spend any more money here. So I think I'm just gonna chill and finish my Guinness and then walk back to the hostel and maybe like throw together a few random items to eat to supplement this. So I really hope the power goes back on, because I'm not about living this far off grid for the next 4 days. Yeah. I think I forgot how filling Guinness is. I don't know that I need any more food, but I'm really happy to be. There's a deer. It's a deer. It's very little. See if I can get any closer. No, I don't want to spook it. So cool. So, since it's not raining and the tourists have basically left, I've decided to take a little walk. So this is the original gateway to the monastic site. You can see it's a double gate. Apparently it's the only existent example of its kind still. So there's a graveyard here. Not sure what you need to do to get buried here. And then this is the old chapel. And there's the like chapel roundhouse combo. So this is the largest church in Glendalough, or chapel, cathedral, I don't know. You can see the doorway. Apparently the oldest part is the nave, which I think is that part. And it predates the rest of the church, so I guess they built on once they needed more space. Apparently there used to be a pretty elaborate archway here, but obviously that's fallen with the roof. You can see all these gravestones, which means probably they're under the ground here, where it would have been laid like this, and then that would have been the floor. So here's the round tower up close. There's the doorway I was talking about. You can kind of see the door a little bit through there. Nope, can't. But I can see it. Apparently there used to be some sort of bell in the top as a way to call the monks to prayer. But yeah. So as I walk around this cemetery, most of the gravestones are really old. Some are so old that they're like falling apart and you can't even see what they are or what they were anymore. The most recent ones I've seen are from the 1980s, but there's only a few of those. So again, what do you need to do to get buried here? Don't know. This is interesting. Loving memory of Kathleen Holden and Nancy Holden. And then it's also like, and also her husband James, and also her husband Seamus. So these two, I'm guessing sisters-in-law, and then also their husbands. Fascinating. Oh, I wonder how long ago that happened. Okay, so there's some story about this cross and being able to put your arms all the way around it, and I can't remember what the story is, but that was something that the tour guide talked about when I was here like almost a decade ago. And there's also like these memorial stones where it's like, here's all the people who are obviously not buried here, but it's just a memorial for all of them. Here's another little chapel. It smells so musky in there. A little side room. This light is absolutely stunning. Like, part of me wishes I had done the big hike, but like, I was not emotionally prepared to do that. It's like 1,500 feet of elevation too. So it's probably best that I save it, but hopefully tomorrow afternoon gives me this too. This is the priest's house. It's quite old as well. It's very small. I always feel that way. Like this. It looks like a fireplace. Here's some gravestones. And that's it. But like all the buildings are this big. Wild. Oh, here's one from the 90s. But these are definitely like in loving memory of. These are not like here the body's buried. There's too many names here, I feel like. Who knows? Who knows? But there's that Margaret Mary. That's 2000. Okay, here's 2021. Was the most recent date I've seen. Oh, this one's like, look at Lucy. Died in 2015, aged 105 years. Go Lucy. This is an interesting one. There's the dude, John Joseph Jack Malone, his wife, okay, then their friend, William White, and also this other person, Mert Hara. Did they all die together? No, they didn't die together. That's an odd assortment. Oh, here's another 2021. This one might actually be buried here. It just says, died this date. Somebody's clearly taking care of that. This is wild. There's Iseult Stewart, born in 1894, died 1934. And then Siobhan Stewart, born 1955, died, is it 55 or 35? Can't tell. Died 1988. And then Ian Stewart, born 1926, died 2013. So are they all, like, I'm assuming family, but how? This is interesting. The fine is in both pounds and euro. I wonder why. Okay, I think that's all she wrote for the day. I'm gonna walk back to my hostel and settle in for the night. Fingers crossed that at about noon tomorrow, the weather starts doing this again, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow morning. But according to the people that have been staying here, it poured all morning, this morning too, and then it was like this. It's like this now. So if that keeps up, adventuring we will go. Bye. Sorry, I'm walking back and I found more deer. Look, there's like a little herd of them. Oh, hello. You see me. I see you. They're very small deer. I don't know if you can tell that from the video, but I think they look like the size of like a calf.